Good evening, good evening. It's another Thursday night, and you with Creators1News, formerly known as Meta News from way back in the day. We're still going on, we're still moving forward. I am El Blanco. I do the business segments on Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can see any episode that you missed, you can see it on the YouTube channel. So make sure you go look at Creators One on YouTube, and you can catch up on the topics that we talk about. So what I normally do is I try to keep it 100 because my little motto in here, keeping it Blanco SAF. Um, and like I said, we started off doing my segment teaching 13 weeks of how to really understand a business plan. I actually did a segment on each section of a business plan for 13 weeks. I even gave people the opportunity to get free consultation. Some people took advantage of that because in real life, I haven't done it much, but in real life, I used to consult and I still consult. I consult with people, but more or less, I do a lot of legal work now because a lot of people are really facing, agencies, administrations trying to take away your benefits, or they're trying to not give you what you're entitled. Just recently, over the last 2 months, I've dealt with two insurance companies that was trying not to pay out when it was time to pay. So, I know how to make them pay or suffer the consequences, right? Because they got ways to send you documentation. If you don't understand it, you're agreeing to them not paying you, basically. Bottom line is. So anyway, we're going to get past that. We're going to talk about some gripes, right? This is some serious gripes that's going on here. And I find all the gripes legitimate. And so here is the alternative to your gripes, right? So everybody, yeah, we like all the opportunities that are here. There are so many opportunities that are here, but over time we tend to see that the opportunities are, the goalpost moves, based on what the goals of the company is, because this is a corporation, it is a company, and to not understand business is easy to get, disencouraged or get, disenchanted, along with a couple other things that individuals have issues with. But I'm going to talk about it as a collective. I'm not going to talk about it from a position of just my issues, right? Because I talk to a lot of people all the time, and one of the main people that I started out with came back yesterday, and we were talking yesterday. I got pretty much a high level of respect for this person because they are business minded. They were successful in here, and at the same time, the goalposts moved, and it kind of like erased all of the progress to start all over again from ground zero. And that's why we see a lot of people who were like at the top of the game here are no longer at the top of the game, right? They're just starting over again with the new platforms. So this is what I want to share with Horizon Worlds. And I was hoping to get a lot of people in the studio tonight, but that's a gripe right there. The messages you sent out, we checked for them. People didn't get the messages. Because one of the main features is you can send a share out to all Horizon Worlds, and then you're supposed to be able to send out invites to all the groups you're part of. And those groups have up to 20 to 25 people at a time. Depending on how many groups you're in, you can just select those groups and everybody can get the notification, because they do not allow me. I have not been able to go past 61 invites in one night. So, we're going to talk about these things, right? All of these constraints, right? Now, if you understand business, a company, their main goal is to satisfy their shareholders. So you must understand that, no one's treating you bad if you're not a shareholder, because the shareholders, everything has to be done to increase the revenue, to hit the profit margin, so the shares can be paid out accordingly to what the shareholders expect, so the shareholders will stay with them and keep investing, because businesses go through phases of funding, right? So they may raise 20 million or get $60 million, but that's to build this whole platform out, to be able to pay the workload, run the system, and to be able to hire experts, where they need experts at. So currently we are the experts in a sense. We're part of the experts. 1 second, right? So I gotta pause. Okay. We're the experts, right? Because I don't know if we're still in beta stage. I think we are, but I don't know because I'm not a part of the program. I don't know where, I don't know the inner circle information. But we are the ones that come in. We use all our creative ideas. We create them here. We create experiences for everybody else, and at the same time, that brings people in, as well as it brings friends and family in. And over time, more people see, more people are told about it, and more people continue to come. So that's like a self operating mechanism, right? To continue to have people in because we have been consistent. I've been here going on 4 years, if not 4 years, I think maybe 4 years now. Been here 4 years, and I've told people about this place all the time because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the place. I really enjoy the ability to experience so many different things because it's digital, right? It's digital because otherwise you wouldn't see me going to so many places in a day, in a week, in a month, right? So for a person like me who spends the majority of my time behind a computer doing work, this is perfect for me, right? Now, and I don't move around like a lot of people like to move around. We got people in here. Every time I look up, they on a cruise. They out there. They're enjoying themselves. And I was like that when I was younger, But once you do certain things enough for certain things, you've had the experience. Okay, cool. Now, what I want to really like focus on is the conversations, right, where people are kind of like dismayed. They don't see the opportunity that they thought they saw, and I'm going to explain to you why, so you can get an understanding of the type of environment this really is, right? So you must first and foremost remember that this is a gaming platform and it's a social platform, okay? And this platform has done a lot to really improve the platform for, I guess, the majority of us, because a lot of us like to just socialize. Of course, the younger people going to always want to play games because that's what it's about. It's about gaming, okay? But the ones who socialize, after socializing for so long, you start seeing opportunities that, hey, I can build that. Hey, I can have that. I would like to do these things. And then once you get to that point, you see that by learning these things and becoming proficient, especially when you master a certain aspect of it, you may get a call. We may need you on this team. We may want you to be on the partnership development, whatever, right? So then you start seeing those opportunities. Then you see other people, other groups who have been successful get projects, right? And then they get projects and they grab a team of people and everybody can get paid off their project. Or more importantly, you could actually, you know, do like Meta Jesus. You can have one game that pops off, and now you're making that kind of money, and now everybody's looking at that person and say, "Well, hey, I may be able to do the same thing." What's up, Miss Malik and Writer's Pen is in the house tonight. Yes, and so when we see all these opportunities, right? The average person is in here. This becomes your peer group, but you're not able to do this or you're not able to move that fast because you may not have that expertise. So you got to think about it, right? We came in, we learned how to use the tools. Whenever you learn how to use the tools, you can go to a higher level. Now, people came in, they used the tools, they went from 0 to 100, right? And then all of a sudden, TriMesh came. Now, that comes with different types of technology, it comes with different types of skill sets. And guess what? The people who've been doing it for 10, 20 years, even 30 years, uh-oh, they got that level of expertise now to maximize on this phase, right? So I talk to a lot of people, new people. I'm talking to them all the time, and they say, "Oh, I wish I could do this because I design. I design. I do all of these things. I do. I make things with my hands. I make fashions. I make all kind of things, but I don't know how to do it in here because I don't know how to use this." So okay, so let me give you a little insight, right? I can't make anything. I mean, I Isha Too Shy is my partner. She's with the Shy brand. So she's a builder. She does her thing. Then you have Miss Rocks and Dragon. They both build Dragon scripts. So I'm in the best company I could be in here for a person who can't build, right? But what that does for me is that gets me to have things to look at as far as what my skill is. My skill is looking at things. I can assess something. I can look at the projections of it. I know how to do a feasibility study. I know where to get all the information to see exactly where this thing could possibly go if all things are, if all things are normal, or I can see how if it's not going to go that way, I still can see how we can take this platform and do our own thing. Now, so this is what I want to say tonight. For all those people who are dismayed about the fact that, okay, well, I thought I was going to get paid this. I had this much retention. I sold this many items, and I was expecting a lot more. So I'm working hard, right? So those people are not seeing the type of return that they want. And a lot of these people have quit their jobs because at one point they were making the money before, before the new phase hit. So you must understand, if you don't start understanding just general business, right? If you don't understand that, you will always have to go with what the platform is providing, and you will always have to perform at the level of what the platform is doing, unless you start doing business. Now, what is that? I've been saying it for years. I've been right here saying it for years. I've been telling people, well, first and foremost, set your business up. But when I say set a business up, I'm saying set a business up based on the current environment that you're in. You're in a digital virtual environment, right? So normally in the real world, business is based on whatever industry you're in, right? So if you're in an industry that's a corporation, you're dealing with shareholders. I'm talking about like a full C corporation. You're dealing with shareholders, and you're dealing with topics like double taxation and things like that, right? So we don't know. We don't normally start out that way. We normally start out with a LLC, a lot of people with a nonprofit, and that gets them the experience to get up to a certain level where they can possibly move into an S corporation or move into a full corporation. But most times people normally stick around the LLC, S corporation, and they even got things like B corporations or limit or series LLCs and all these things. I could talk forever, and you say, okay, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm just telling you those are different entity types, right, on the outside. So for here, you can start an LLC, which is one of the easiest things to set up, but you still have to set it up properly. And that's what I've been here for. If you want to set it up, I said, come sit down with me and I'll walk you through it each phase. And some people have come in here and did just that. They sat down with me, do that. Okay. You understand that? Okay. Do this. Now I don't even have to do that much work. I can sit them down for an hour or two and show them how to use AI, right? Because all you have to do is understand the terminology of what you're needing, and you don't have to know much. If you understand the terminology, it'll break down all the terminology that you don't understand, and the picture will start, they'll start giving you a concise picture, right? So now, why am I keep telling people to start the business on the outside? Because if you're not on the program and you don't have access like that, the access to be first in, like the first in. If you first in, you get to do it first before anybody else get to do it. You can make all the revenue you can before it gets saturated, and then that phase go away, right? And we're in a virtual world, so phases don't last long. Our phases last anywhere from 6 months or under, right? So you can expect all the people that's making money right now, just doing good. You can expect it to slow down when the capabilities are given to everybody else, right? And then everybody else will at least learn what everybody else was doing because they paid attention, they've asked the questions, they sat back and got involved a little bit, and now everybody will be making clothing pretty soon. But it would be those who have mastered that phase ahead of you who's going to perfect this now. So I'm just waiting on shoes. I'm waiting on high heels and boots. I'm waiting on anything else that hasn't been done yet. Now that we have the clothes section to materialize, that's what I'm waiting on, and I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying it because at first I was critical, but now I see I'm just watching everybody enjoying it. People are enjoying these. They are enjoying themselves by being able to shop and have their own personality, selecting clothes. They're enjoying it just like they were enjoying it as soon as we got our new avatars. First, we got legs. That was the biggest thing ever. Then they start giving us definition in our avatars. We start feeling more and more like ourselves, and everybody feel like individuals. Cool. Now, getting back to the business side. So, let's say when people do transactions, right? You must understand you're only getting a certain percentage of the transaction because it's not your account merchant account. You're not doing the accounting. You're not taking the money. You're not keeping the accounting. You're not reporting to the IRS. You're not doing all these things that these companies are doing. On top of that, because this is done through these platforms, right? You don't know how many hands these transactions are going through. You don't know what they're charging per transaction, per individual transaction. So you have no control of that. And so it's nothing to gripe about when you don't have control, because you can do your own thing and get control. So what were we doing? Or what was I suggesting when we first got here? We have Zelle, we have Cash App, we have other mechanisms that we have anyway to do transactions, right? So talking to a person like me, I always tell you, I'm not a consumer. You can't play me. You can't, what I'm saying? When I say you can't play me with language, I'm not a consumer, right? So I don't think like a consumer, right? I think like a business person, right? So me, at one time when I first got on, I was hitting the kudos up. I was investing in everybody I could think of invest in. Then I realized that, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? They don't even know how much money they getting off each investment I give. And I've always been that person. I've always been that individual. Like, I don't give to organizations because I don't know how much is going to the administration, how much is actually getting to the people when you do charitable contributions. So I'm that cat that will give a dude on the street $20. I'm that individual, right? Because I see about making sure we're empowering ourselves, not empowering the organizations. So if you was just to take the time and realize how much money actually goes to the people that these organizations collecting money for, you would see what I mean. So having all that experience and having that knowledge, I would apply the same thing in here. So guess what? If I was the builder, now we're saying if, this is not for everybody. I think that, I'm putting down the process, but if I was a builder, right? Best believe you'll be buying from my business. Best believe I would get every dollar that I'm creating here, because it's still my asset. I still have property rights and property interests. If I choose to let you purchase it through the platform, then that's what I choose to do. But I, as an individual, will not give up all that, because I will use my own merchant account where I know how much is coming out, how much the fees are, and all of that. So that means if I did a contract with anybody, whether it's Meta, whether it's anybody, if I did a contract, and I just had this conversation with somebody, right? I'm not going to call her name out because I don't, it was a conversation. I love to challenge people's thoughts. And it was just telling me how, oh, I own my stuff before I bring it in. Well, I understand that. There's some people who are savvy enough, when they bring their content in here, they already reserve their rights to it. Sometimes if you ever seen some of Shay stuff, she got a logo on it with a rights reserved under it. Whenever you see me put some of my portrait in here, you see our rights reserved, or you see a copyright signal behind it, because I'm not giving up anything that's something I already own. Now, when I come in here and create something, right? We know under the contract, if you're not on the partnership program under that contract, then you're not doing anything based on any type of work for hire. You still own your stuff, right? They have non-exclusive rights because it's on the platform to use it. They can put it in the asset store. They can do whatever they want, but actually, you own it. So what is happening now is, which kind of like giving me a better reason now to speak more, because a lot of things I said in the past that people weren't listening to, they're materializing. A lot of things are materializing. So I said a long time ago, I don't need to build, because one day they're going to have bots in here and AI going to be building. And guess what they're doing? They're using AI to build now here. They're creating whole worlds with just AI, using the editor and everything, right? And I think it's going to get more advanced than that, because remember, they still have text, they're using text prompts to even do movie scenes, small videos. It's going to get even better. So I was telling people that back then. Now it's materialized. So when I was telling people a long time ago, anytime you own anything, it's digital, hold on to it. Make everything you possibly can. Hold on to it. Don't think it's obsolete, it's gone, because it never is content, right? So when you have a digital asset and on a digital platform, this method that they're using right now, where you're using these coins to purchase items, is just like what the blockchain is going to be in real life when you're using cryptocurrency or NFTs or any type of other digital utility to do business and make purchases. So right now, the coins are only based on this platform. So they're paying out based on the coin being the utility, right? It's like doing currency exchange, but instead of exchanging currencies, we use real money, buy the coins, we do business in here with it, and they pay how they want to pay based on the fees they're charging and based on the agreement for the percentage that they get, right? So that means everything you're making, they're gonna cut, right? They're gonna cut, and there's nothing wrong with that because they provide the whole facility for you. But let's say if I was building, let's say I'm looking at what everybody's doing now. Okay, I have a world, my world, when everything could be 75 cents. I know half of y'all be like, oh man, you crazy. You know what I'm saying? I can get $5, I can get $10. Right. You can. You can. But I will have everything at 75 cents, right? But I have an agreement where you come to my business. You purchase that 75 cents in here so you can get that item. But me, you got a private contract with my business, and you're gonna pay me really what I say is worth. And in some instances, I would even like, and people be talking about it already, so I can say it. People are talking about customizations and things like that. That is no different than I'll build your world on commission. That's no different than people was making assets and was buying teddy bears, was buying digital candy on Valentine's Day, right? So basically, what I'm saying is, you literally don't have to wait or follow through this mechanism because you still own your assets and you can do whatever you want with them. You can sell them wherever you want. You can sell them here, pay the fee, or you can sell them here on the outside, get your payment. But you must set up a proper business for that. Your business must be set up properly. You must have a website. You must have a place where people can go to through a mechanism where everything's verified and it's accounted for still because you're doing business. And if you have your business set up properly. It ain't just, I just went and filed with the state and I filed it with the Secretary of State and I went and got my little tax ID number. It's way more to a business than that. It's way more because if you don't understand that part, you're going to give all that money to the IRS. So you won't really have a 20%, 30% profit margin. And that's how companies grow because their profit margin, you know, it's up there and their profit margin don't go out to taxes. Their profit margin goes back into the company because of how they structured. That's a whole another conversation to learn the different terminologies between what tax evasion is and what tax avoidance is. One term is illegal and the other term is legal. So tonight, I just want to touch on that. And for those who still don't get it, who still not paying attention, because I've been saying the same thing forever, you need to start looking at those who are doing it, who has skill sets that you don't have, and you need to know how to collaborate. You got to learn how to bring a service that's going to help them do more sales so you can probably make a percentage, but you got to be bringing more people in for that percentage to make sense for them to profit share with you. Or you need to come in, like for instance, I'm giving an example, like this person say, hey, I make these out in public, right? I sell a lot of these. I go buy the small, I buy all the beads, I buy the vases, all that good stuff, right? They say they go buy all these things and they make these things themselves and then they sell them. Then I say to them, okay, based on how much time you put into making one, how long does it take to sell it and how much money you're making, right? And then they never thought about that because that's business. You got to understand that for the time you put into it, you got to be able to understand how much money you're going to make and what your profit can be per, because you got to take that same information and say, if I pay $20 for all the materials, right, and it takes me 2 hours, right? So let's say you want to be paid $20 an hour for your time, right? So it takes you 2 hours. It's $40 cost into that already. Then the other 60 for the material, right? That's 60, right? But you want to make a $20 profit margin on all of them. So that lets you know that that thing better be dope. It better be worth $80 if that's what you want to do. But most people don't take the business mind and use a business model to be able to do something that's going to provide them with a return that way. Because when you have a return like that, right, and you can show that to any type of investor, or you can take it to any lending institution, and you can show them that on paper, and you can show them that over time, you'll get the money you need, which is a injection. They call it, you need a financial injection to take your company to the next level, right? So this is how it looks. If I can show a bank that I can make $100,000 a year, right? $100,000, right, a year doing something, right? Now for a business, $100,000 isn't nothing. I'm just telling you, for business, a business is really supposed to be making $3 million annually, right? A business, right? I know people look at me like I'm crazy because we ain't really been doing business. So of course you're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. But a business is supposed to make that. But why? Because a business, when it first starts, has the ability to get a certain amount of money from the government based on a business structure if it's set up right. Because a business gets what you call business loans. And most businesses that set up right, remember, if a business fail, they bankrupted, right? And most of the financing in this country, in our monetary system, is most things are covered by the government 80 to 20. So you can write stuff off and get 80%, and other 20% is what people normally, when they take a loss, they sell the business off or sell whatever to whoever buy the rest of the debt at 20% because they done wrote off the 80% with the IRS. Once again, a lot of stuff to talk about. But basically, all you have to do is start learning about business. And all the keywords that I'm telling you and all the different examples that I'm giving you, if you start there and then you can come to me if you start from ground zero, you just totally don't know where to start. I'm here, right? I haven't charged nobody no consultation fee since I've been here. So you have the ability, in closing, I'm just telling you, you have the ability with all the people that's here and that's been here. Everybody got skills now. Everybody got themselves branded. Everybody has notoriety. If you create your own economy, right, and stop like trying to feel that you got to do this because this person's doing it, you got to do that. Everybody will always have their lane because everybody has their own strengths. Everybody has their own weaknesses, and just the way it is. But so, like, if I want to ever do something, I got Isha. She's a super builder in here. She's already got into the tri-mesh. So if I want to apply my business skills, I know how to go out there and get investors for real. I know how to go get investors and put a whole packet together. I can say, hey, investor, check this out. Horizon World's got a competition over here. They're gonna give $200,000 out to the winner. And then they're gonna be like so many other people gonna get a certain amount of money, whatever the case may be. Right? And these are investors. Okay. So if I can show that investor, if you can give me $5,000, I can put a team in here. I put a team together. That team gonna sign off on everything because I'm gonna pay them up front. They're gonna get all their money up front, just like boxers. When you do a boxing match, they get a certain amount of money up front. The box office gonna make a killing, but they was guaranteed their money to do the fight. Same thing in here. I will come in here, put a team together. I will get the best scripted, this, that, and the third. If they all agree, I'm going in under my account for that competition. I just got the team that's working for hire for me. So that means I'm the contractor, general contractor, or I'm the executive producer. That means it's mine, right? Everybody else is getting paid. They ain't got to win nothing. They getting paid for their time. They getting paid for their expertise. And if I just so happen to win the grand prize, 200, and all I paid out was 5,000, I can make my $200,000. Pay the investor according to our agreement. He may have wanted 50% on his return, or he may have wanted, whatever. He might want his money to come back at 20% a month, depending on how long the thing took. But whatever the case may be, you have too many opportunities to do business if you just knew how to do business, and you wouldn't have to wait until Horizon World come up with another opportunity or another opportunity, and then once you get to the point where you can participate, and then it changes again, and then be left out in the cold. And I had this conversation with some very dope people who was in here doing their thing, and that's how they feel now, because they would have to start all over again, and they wouldn't be feeling that way if we as a group of people, as a community, was actually doing business with each other the right way. But we don't know how to do it the right way because we don't have no background in it. So that's what I wanted to share tonight. So thank you again for tuning in and coming in tonight. Remember, we're on YouTube, so you can check us out on YouTube, because it's still all about where you see the content. You don't have to be here tonight, but you can check it out on YouTube when you're working, sitting behind your computer. Once again, this is Creators One. A lot of you know it as the old Meta News, and I'm El Blanco. This is the business segment for Creators1News. Shout out to Miss Rocks. She's been doing it this whole time. That's the only reason I got a platform. That's the only reason you know me. And shout out to Universal Dragon for giving me that secondary interview and giving me the green light. Thanks to Ish Too Shy and everybody else in this bad boy that been showing love. Good night.